go now.
In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court...
Hey! Whoa, hey! What's up?
Inside the courtroom, justice is supposed to speak louder than emotion. But what happens when pain refuses to stay silent? Imagine sitting just a few feet away from the person who destroyed your world, watching them smile, laugh, or show no remorse at all. Could you hold yourself back? Part 1 showed how grief can make it hard to follow the rules of courtroom behavior. Part 2 shows what happens when those rules are completely broken and the courtroom itself turns into a place of resistance. These aren't just outbursts of anger. They're times when the idea of justice itself is physically attacked. Justice is based on order and power. Judges, defendants, and grieving families all run into each other, causing chaos. The courtroom, which is supposed to be a sacred place for law, loses its symbolic power, revealing the chaos inside. The judge is being attacked in Las Vegas, 2024. In a Las Vegas courtroom on January 3rd, 2024, Deobra Redden, who was 30 years old at the time, was sentenced for attempted attack by Judge Mary Kay Holthus. At first, the case seemed normal, but it quickly turned into one of the most shocking scenes of violence ever caught on camera in a courthouse. Redden had already been found guilty. As he stood in front of the judge, he begged for forgiveness. He said in a soft voice, "I don't think I should go to jail. I'm not a danger to people." Judge Holthus just listened without saying a word, and then she made her decision. The person was not given probation. Redden suddenly lunged forward, jumped over the judge's bench, and tackled her to the ground before her sentence was even over. The courtroom turned into a mess. A sheriff and a clerk worked hard to get him away from the judge. During the fight, the marshal's wrist was broken, and the clerk was hurt and shook up. She hit her head on the wall, but Judge Holthus lived. Later, court security video showed papers flying through the air, staff yelling, and bailiffs yelling as they tried to calm down the angry defendant.
Because I'm in a better place than I was.
But Judge Holthus was having none of it.
I appreciate that, but I think it's time that he gets a taste of something else because I just can't with that history.
The law community was shocked by Redden's attack. The person who was supposed to be judged had instead turned on justice itself. Redden was charged with attempted murder, battery on a protected person, and multiple counts of assault a few days later. In December 2024, he was given a sentence of 26 to 65 years in jail for the assault in court. When asked if she would step down from overseeing any more cases involving him, Judge Holthus stubbornly said, "In my own courtroom, I will not be scared." That picture of a judge coming back to the bench, hurt but determined, became a haunting symbol of strength. The meaning was clear. When the figure of justice is struck physically, the idea that the courtroom is unbeatable falls apart. There was more at stake than just crime or innocence. The question was whether the system could handle the anger of the people. The Harris County fight in Houston, 2024, a few months later, another courtroom got out of hand. But this time it wasn't because of the offender, it was because of the victim's family. It was meant to be a normal hearing for Larry Brooks Jr. in August 2024 at the Harris County Criminal Court in Houston. He was being charged with murdering Jimmy Earl Randall. There was silence in the front row as the judge read the charges against Randall. Capital murder, knowingly and intentionally causing the death.
I will follow the rules of decorum. That's your exact words, which you said every time.
Which you're demonstrating right now that you have absolutely no ability to do.
With all due respect, I've never had to go through any type of certain words that needed to be said or stressed or anything like that before. I've always done it the way that you've asked me to do it.
In an instant, one of Randall's cousins jumped over the railing, stood up, and punched Brooks in the face. The blow made a loud sound that could be heard all over the courtroom. Later, a witness said, "It looked like something from YouTube." 1 second peace, the next chaos. A group of bailiffs quickly stepped in to hold the attacker, while the shocked judge called for order and briefly ended the session. Brooks was not hurt, but the attack still caused shock in the courtroom. The family member who punched was given a ticket for disrespect, but not charged with a crime. Later, the judge said something calmly that showed how difficult these situations are. Grief doesn't justify violence, she said, but it does explain it. In news stories, the Houston Chronicle said that the courtroom became a mirror of raw human loss decorum, giving way to grief and anger. There were a few seconds when sadness spoke louder than the law. The Albuquerque Melee in New Mexico in the year 2025. By the beginning of 2025, another courtroom would explode in an even bigger way. Alexander Ortiz, 23, was charged with killing his ex-girlfriend Alyssa Lucero, 19, in Albuquerque's Metro Court in February. However, he denied the charges. The meeting was supposed to be about procedures, but the mood was tense. Carlos Lucero, Alyssa's uncle, sat in the crowd with his hands clenched. Something in Ortiz snapped when his lawyer said the words, self-defense. Before the court staff could respond, Carlos jumped over the wooden divider and attacked Ortiz, punching him several times. As the police dragged Carlos away, he yelled, "He killed my niece like a coward." Every second was worth it. The hearing turned into a mess. Ortiz's father, who was there, rushed forward to protect his son, which started a fight that spread to the rest of the room. The judge yelled, "Order! Order in the court!" But her voice was lost in the noise. Even though it only lasted a minute, the event left a deep mark. Carlos Lucero wasn't charged with a felony, and he told reporters later that he didn't feel bad about what he did. He said quietly, he deserves to feel what she felt. His words were caught on police body cam video. The Albuquerque case showed that feeling isn't always spontaneous. Sometimes it's inevitable. Even though she knew cameras were rolling, her sadness made her unable to hold back. It showed in real life that the courtroom is not a stronghold of reason. It is a place where people can show their strongest feelings. The Baltimore attack in Maryland in 2024. In Baltimore, another case showed how quickly things can go wrong when pain comes back. The courtroom turned into a fight zone during the trial of Donald Williams, who was charged with killing David Jackson Jr., 27, in 2012. As prosecutors showed graphic autopsy pictures of Jackson's wounds, 3 of his family members suddenly got up and screamed in pain. In a matter of seconds, they jumped at Williams and charged at the defense table. As the jurors gasped and ran out of the box, deputies rushed to control them. This was a sad and emotional case, the Baltimore Sheriff's Office said later. No one could have seen that coming, even though they were ready. A sudden break was called because of the attack. The judge thought about throwing out the trial because some of the jurors had seen the attack and might now feel sorry for the family or unsafe continuing.
Disabled here for this private sidebar. There will be 4 teenage witnesses who will take the stand here during this trial. Again, Judge Cahill did rule that their audio will be played and it will be public, but their names, how to spell their names, that kind of information that they give in the beginning will be have.
The proceedings continued after a short break for discussion, but the emotional damage lingered. It was made clear by this event that these explosions don't just threaten safety, they threaten justice itself. A single intense moment can ruin years of work by lawyers and even throw out a whole trial. For people in the courtroom, it was hard to tell the difference between a victim and an observer. Even the jury joined the storm of grief without meaning to. That might be the most accurate way to describe these events. The courtroom is more than just a place to hear cases. It's a place where anger, grief, and justice all meet. If stories like this make you question justice, stay with us, hit subscribe, and never miss the moments where the courtroom loses control.